Wait. It doesn't take long before Beringer is excitedly showing off his new discoveries at the school. He proudly holds up one of the rocks and points to an engraving near the animal. "You may not be able to read this, but this is God written in ancient Latin," he confidently tells his colleagues. Thinking he had discovered a true scientific breakthrough that would cement his legacy, Beringer begins documenting his newly acquired fossils, and soon he begins work to compile his discoveries into a book. He hires professional artists and engravers to capture images of his fossils for his opus Lithographia Würzburgensis. And soon, word gets back to Roderick and Eckart that Beringer was not joking about that book he was going to write, and that the manuscript was nearly done, and this freaks them out. Realizing their prank had now gone way too far, but also not wanting to confess outright, they begin to spread rumors around the school saying that Beringer's fossils were fraudulent. When Beringer gets word of the rumors, he scoffs at the idea that anyone would question his genius. And instead of taking time to check if these rumors had any truth to them, he writes a specific section in his book calling out his doubters instead. The pair, thinking the book would damage the credibility of their university, become desperate and try to show Beringer how his fake fossils could be easily made. But he refuses to hear any of it. This was going to be what history remembers him for, and nothing would stand in the way of his destiny. The book goes to press. But it did not take long for Beringer's dream to become his nightmare. See, according to one source that documented this story, shortly after his book had been published, Beringer finds his own name written in Hebrew on one of his fossils. He finally realized that he'd been fooled, but it's too late. His book is everywhere. Frantically, he begins trying to recall the book, and according to some versions of the story, he bankrupts himself trying to buy back all the copies to prevent his legacy from being tarnished. Whether or not that part of the story really happened, we'll never know, but he did bring Roderick and Eckart to court and won his cases against them. Roderick lost his job at Würzburg, and Eckart lost his access to the historical records he had depended on for his scholarship. His life's work was never finished. Beringer publishes 2 more books before he dies, but his scientific legitimacy was forever damaged by the prank, and in most of the historical records, Beringer's lying stones make up most of what's written about him.